Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Mike,
This is Tyrone.
This is Menelik.
This is Hollister.
and welcome back to the podcast. It's a little bit of a late start today, but y'all probably won't even know anyway because by the time I upload this video, y'all going to see it when y'all see it. But as you guys know, the playoffs has begun. We had gave our predictions last weekend about who we thought was going to win and how many games and etc. and etc. We had a couple of surprises and things of that nature, but I'm gonna let Hollister get started and what his opinions and what he feels so far. So take it over.
All right. For the so far, we got what Orlando, Milwaukee. We all predicted a sweep, but Orlando came away with a game. I think it's over for them now. Milwaukee went up with 2-1 today. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Then we got what else? Um, the Brooklyn Toronto series. It's all right though. They probably gonna finish this off next game.
I mean that hurt me because real quick
Yeah.
because I didn't I made when I said they was gonna win, I was being funny, but I at least figured they would get a game. But they had that other game. They were winning the game for most of the game, and then they end up coming up short. So they probably gonna get bumped on Sunday. It depends on how they feel.
I told you.
Yeah, but you said a lot of things, man. You said a lot of things that ain't happening. We'll get to you soon. We'll get to you soon.
You.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
do got to give them guys some credit. They've been grinding out with the roster they have.
Yeah, man.
Every game been in it at least.
And they had that other game, little questionable things here and there, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we already know what to look forward to. Carisberg couldn't buy a basket that couple of games, but we'll see. Next year's over. The chip bound. But yeah, I'll let you. I know. I'll let you finish though, Pops. I just had to say that. Go ahead.
Well, Celtics and 76ers series. I mean, I knew Boston was going to win, but I didn't know they might potentially sweep Philly. I honestly think that Philly might break up that team, probably either trade Embiid or Simmons. I really think that's going to happen because it's not working out. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it's just not working with them guys. What other series? Hold on, forgetting. That's it for the East. Oh yeah, the Miami, Indiana. That's going on right now as we speak. I still give the leverage to Miami. But Western Conference, so far we got Portland and the Lakers. I did say Portland was going to win. I'm still sticking with them. Hopefully Dame is good enough with his finger. Good thing it's not in his shooting hand. But Anthony Davis did the same game too. That's what he does. LeBron, I don't know. LeBron ain't looking like he usually does. I know he's older. He's probably fatigued and all of that. But let's see what happens. You can't have no excuses. He had
no excuses. No excuses.
Yeah, 5 months off? So you gotta pull through.
Tom ain't gonna have no excuses, none of it.
The Clippers and Mavericks, that's what 2-1. Yeah, Kawhi's gonna do his thing regardless, no matter what. He's gonna step up when they need him to, which he's been doing.
Yeah, but real quick before you guys, I just want to say something else to everybody. I want to talk about that game after we make out when we confirm our predictions. After it, I want to talk about that game. So if you have any other opinions on it, we can wait until that segment.
The last night's game?
Yeah, last night's game. So I want to talk about that game, and so I'm saying that you continue with your rest of your stuff, but if you want to elaborate more on that last night's game, let's wait to that segment because I know we all got a lot to say about that game.
All right. So the Nuggets and Jazz, I did predict Denver to win, but Utah, I knew they wasn't gonna go down easy. Utah's a team that they fight no matter what. Donovan Mitchell doing his thing. Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley is back. They just grinding it out. The Rockets and Thunder. Oh man, I got to give Houston in credit. They doing their thing without Westbrook. Hopefully they keep this up. Imagine when he comes back. The OKC, they got a young core. They got some draft picks. Hopefully they keep them and use it right until get better as they go on. That's pretty much it so far.
All right, cool. Menelik?
All right. So yeah, as far as I'll start on the East. So with the Bucks and the Magic, the Bucks came out after that first loss. They was awake. I think they were sleeping a little bit, and they kind of got caught by surprise. But I think Giannis wasn't having it. And what I would say though, I mean, Middleton, he's a talented player, but he needs to step up. I mean, I still feel like Milwaukee will get the win regardless, but because between Bledsoe and Middleton, Giannis needs like a second reliable guy. Like I know they deep where he gets help from different places, the Lopez boys, other people, but I feel like Middleton and or Bledsoe need to step up, especially the next round. I think they slated if Miami wins, they're gonna play Miami. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they got that's definitely something to think about.
I mean, just real quick, Middleton did play a lot better today because they just finished their game and they smacked
they played
the Orlando Magic by almost. They were smacking them out like 30, but then Orlando brought it back down to like 20 something, maybe like in the teens. But he did play. He had like 17 points, maybe 19 points this game. I don't know what the stats were for Bledsoe, but he was more aggressive this game and his shots started to fall. So hopefully he'll start to get in the rhythm. To your point. But go ahead.
Yeah, because he's a good player. So hopefully he could give Giannis a little more consistent help. As far as the Brooklyn and Toronto, yes, it's 3-0 whatever, but I would say, especially one of those games, Brooklyn had a real shot at taking the game. They didn't get it, but they definitely was playing. It was a little scrappy and stuff, and the future's bright for them next year. I mean, I see Toronto closing out the series. I still feel like Brooklyn might have a chance to get a game, but I wouldn't be, I could see Toronto closing it out. As far as the 3-6 matchup, the Philly and Boston, I didn't expect Boston to like practically sweep Philly. I do feel like as much as it's weird with Simmons and Embiid playing together, they're definitely missing Simmons. They're missing his defense and having another guy. Like Embiid has been doing his thing and feasting at times, but he can't do it himself against the Celtics, and it's showing. Like Hollister was saying, I definitely feel like something is going to probably change in Philly. They just haven't been able to get right, whether that's a coaching change, players change, personnel change, both. They probably are going to make some kind of changes over there in Philly, but I don't see them turning around the series. I mean, there's a chance maybe they get one game, but the Celtics definitely going to take that one. And it's interesting to see. I know Hayward went out. I mean, they're deep and they have a lot of guys, so I feel like they could still do their thing without him, but I feel like they might miss him later on. And then the other series, Miami and Indiana. Even with that one, I thought my Indiana would have had a little more fight in them. I always felt like Miami was going to take it. I do feel like Oladipo getting hurt and them not having Sabonis and other factors is definitely factored into that. But Miami is gonna move on to the next round there. Now we go to the West. If we're gonna talk about I'll talk about Denver and Utah. When we did the other predictions, I did say I was kind of leaning toward Denver because they were deeper. But I did point out, Donovan Mitchell could really, take control. But I feel like with Mike Conley coming back, I feel like that added an extra, level or layer for them. And, they kind of was embarrassing Denver. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. I definitely feel like Denver can bounce back and still make it a competitive series. But Utah has a real shot at taking that series. They got the momentum in their favor right now. So we'll see if Denver can bounce back. As far as Houston and OKC, once again, like Hollister was saying, Houston definitely surprised me. Westbrook hasn't been there, and Harden actually had one bad game and another kind of subpar game, and they still was getting it done. He was getting help. Eric Gordon had one game where he was, balling out. He's been getting help, and which is a good sign, and that shows that Houston really has a chance. And when Westbrook comes back, I mean, as long as the other players can still kind of fill in their roles and the chemistry is still there, they have a real shot. But I definitely feel like they're gonna close out that series against OKC. Earlier, I felt like OKC might have had more of a chance in the series, but I think Houston has kind of showed that they can get the job done without Westbrook. And then I guess that leaves the Lakers and Blazers, and the Clippers and the Dallas. So I'll talk about the Lakers and Blazers first. So as far as the Lakers and Blazers, game 2, even with LeBron, not playing that well, they were able to get the job done because Anthony Davis played like one of the top 5 players. He was aggressive, he was, focused, and he kind of, carried the team on his back. I mean, LeBron had his numbers weren't that great, but he didn't have a terrible game. I think he still almost had a triple double, and because it was kind of a blowout, he didn't play as many minutes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
In the first game, he balled out kind of, and they still lost. But AD didn't play as well. But this game, AD played well. Then Caldwell Pope redeemed himself after that first game. He stepped up. If the other guys on the team can make their shots, like Caldwell Pope, Danny Green, and the bigs keep playing how they've been playing, like Dwight Howard with the offensive rebounds. McGee was, doing his thing. So I feel like with Dame getting his finger hurt, as much as Dame is a tough guy and a competitor, he's going to play, like he was saying, right after I'm playing. Like, it ain't no question. But it might have an effect on him and his shot. It's not his shooting hand, but it still might have an impact.
Yeah.
And with Dame and McCollum both hurting, I just don't know if I feel like they could do enough to get the series. But I still feel like they could get another game at least. But yeah, if the other players on the Lakers continue to contribute, and if AD could play like how he was playing, and Rondo comes back potentially, Lakers, I see them taking that series. As far as Dallas and the Clippers, I just want to say, man, it's a shame my guy Luka, man, got hurt. Once again, I do feel like the Clippers would still win. Kawhi put the team on his back. He was playing like an MVP for the team. Like playoff P. I don't know, man. Paul George. I like Paul George. He's a talented guy, but I mean, granted, he did contribute, not for nothing. Like he had, some rebounds, some assists. He did some good stuff defensively, but he got to put the ball in the basket. I do feel like it's a little bit of a slump, but he'll get there. He'll do what he needs to do at some point. I don't feel like he'll be terrible, the whole playoffs. And then with Luka potentially missing a game with his injury, and I don't see Dallas being able to really do it without Luka and make it too much more competitive. So I feel like Dallas may get another game, but the Clippers are gonna, win that series. So that's my take on those. Yeah.
Okay. Tyrone?
Well, in the first round, our predictions, I predicted 3 sweeps. We're still on course for 3 sweeps, just not the 3 that I thought. It's all good. Milwaukee, they slept walk. Thanks a lot, Milwaukee, because you guys really the ones that disappointed me the most. Yeah, y'all slept walk through game 1 and let Orlando get that. You guys are back on y'all game now. So y'all making me look I'm even more mad now because this is how y'all should have been game 1, or else it'd be 3-0. So that series is pretty much done. It's what we all expected. Milwaukee would sweep, even though they didn't. They're not going to, but they're clicking right now. Game 1 was a wake-up call. Let them know, listen, this is the playoffs. There's no time for BSing. This is not a regular season game that you can sleepwalk through. In the playoffs, you can't afford to sleepwalk at all. So I think this was a lesson learned. So they're gonna wrap that up in 5, even though I said 4. You got Indiana, Miami right now. I predicted I can't remember exactly the number I predicted. I think I predicted Miami in 6. Right now they're up 2-0. They look like the team that has more talent offensively than Indiana, regardless of Oladipo's injury and Sabonis. I think if Sabonis was there, it would be more competitive. I don't think they would have won anyway, but I'm gonna say pretty much it would have still been probably a 6-game series. And right now they're playing right now, and they're down by double figures against Miami. So that's a good that looks like a good that looks like a game that's looking to be a 3-0 series lead for Miami. So we'll see how that goes. But Indiana's playing a little better, but they're still down. So we all expect Miami to go through. Okay, the 3-6 matchup, which is Boston and Philly. Now, I knew Boston was gonna win anyway. I gave Philly a game just to be nice because I figured like Embiid would have a game that he'll just take over and dominate, and they, the Celtics will just slip up for one game. But it looks like that's gonna be a sweep because a lot of times when teams go down 3-0, it's pretty much over, and teams kind of just like let it go after game 4. But to credit Joel Embiid, he has been playing his butt off. He has looked like one of the best big men in the game and everything. So I will give him a pass on the team. Everybody else, Josh Richardson, he's played okay, but he has to put more. He has to put more up on the board. Simmons is out. This is his time to step up. Tobias Harris, he's been so also. Like, he has to step up. Like, Embiid can't do everything himself. Al Horford is not the young Al Horford he used to be, so you're not expecting Al Horford to get you 20 and 10. So Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson got to step up. Shake Milton also. But that's pretty much over. I gave them 5. It looks like it's going to end in 4. So we can forget about that. Tomorrow night, they're going home. 2-7, Toronto, Brooklyn. I predicted a sweep. That's what's going to happen. It was always going to happen. I don't think they had the firepower to keep up with Toronto. They showed they had their moments early in the game, but sometimes that doesn't really mean anything. And even though they made a couple of small comebacks towards the end of games, it still wasn't enough. And that's pretty much sums up why I predicted Toronto will sweep Brooklyn, because they just don't have enough. Next year is what they're really playing for. Like, Brooklyn gets a pass. They're focused on winning, being a contender next year. So that's going to be a wrap. Toronto looks like they'll be playing Boston, which I can't wait to see. So that's the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, I predicted the Lakers would beat Portland in 7. As badly as I want Portland to win, I'm just going to use common sense and say, the Lakers are the superior team, not on paper, but the superior team as far as like, having the 2 best players on the team. So I predicted them in 7, and I'm going to stick with it. Hopefully Portland does win and I'm wrong. This is the one series I hope I'm wrong in, but we'll see. Anthony Davis, he stepped it up in game 2. LeBron still so, but he's doing enough to help the team win. Dame, we'll see how well his shooting is with that finger. I don't know if he could pull up from the Dame territory with that finger messed up. McCollum, you could tell he's hurt, but he's doing all he can. Melo, you got to put up some Melo. I think Melo needs to put up some more. I think the bigs need to bang Anthony Davis some. They got to soften him up a little bit, man. This is what I'm talking about. You got to bang. This is the playoffs, man. They got to put him on the floor a couple times. I know. This is the era now where they do replays and they do flake. They put up flake. Give flagrant fouls and everything. But it's okay. Legally to put somebody on the floor. Sometimes you got to put these guys on the floor, man. That's what playoff basketball is about. But we'll see how that goes. I'm still hoping Portland wins, but I'm picking LA in 7. It's 1-1 right now. Let's see. Game 3 is always the big swing series game.
Yeah.
4-5 matchup. Houston and OKC. I tried to give OKC the respect to give them 7 games. I believe I predicted 7 games for for Houston, but it looks like to me, and I predicted Houston in 7 even without Westbrook. Like, I don't even think they needed Westbrook in this series to beat OKC, but they look like they may even go 4 or 5 games because I don't think OKC has enough to keep up with that 3-point shooting that Houston. Eric Gordon's back. That's a big pickup because he wasn't really there when Westbrook was there and they just got in the bubble. So he came back. I think he came back like 1 or 2 games left in the seeding games. So he's looking good. And Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. You know, Covington hasn't really showed what he does yet, and they're still winning. You know, they're getting they're getting good games from Daniel House. You know, Tucker played well the other day. Austin Rivers is there. So, you know, Harden's Harden, even though he's not putting up the crazy numbers he usually puts up, but he's there. And I think OKC, outside of Chris Paul and Gilgeous-Alexander, you know, I don't know if they got enough. No, Gallinari, he's putting up solid third option numbers, but in the playoffs you got to put up more, man. Like Shaq said it on Inside the NBA about big men and stuff. Like I think he was talking about Embiid. Like if you average 20, 24 a game, you got to average 6 to 8 more points a game in the playoffs. And I think, you know, a lot of these top players on these teams, because it's not like Gallinari's playing within a superstar team. It's not a deep team, but got to put up some more to give them help, because you know that series is a run and gun series. You know, it's just shoot them, like you're just shooting. It's whoever outscores who in that series. But Houston to me looks like they're gonna probably wrap that up in 4 or 5. Although I predicted 7, and that's gonna be I still think without Westbrook they can handle them. 3-6 matchup. This one surprises me. Denver and Utah. I think I predicted Denver in 6. I think I predicted 6. I think what is it now? 2-1 Denver? It's 2-1 Denver now, right? I mean,
No,
Utah.
2-1 Utah, yeah.
2-1 Utah, right. That's a surprise to me. You know, it's funny. The one game they lost is when Donovan Mitchell hit the 57 points. That's funny. But
right, yeah.
It's kind of funny how that's the game that they lost, and they could have won that one, won in the overtime. So
yeah.
If Mitchell doesn't make the 8-second violation, and you don't know how that game would have swung in game 1, could be up 3-0. We never know. But the Utah Jazz surprised me because I figured, and one of the reasons why I predicted Denver in 6 was because Mike Conley I didn't know when Mike Conley would come back, because I kind of was still back and forth on who I would pick in that series. And when they said Mike Conley left the bubble, I assumed that he may be out a little longer than he did, but he only missed, I think, 1 game or 2 games. I'm not too sure if he missed. I'm not too sure if he came back in game 2 or 3, because I didn't even see the last game. But I think he came back in game 2 or 3. And then, you know, Bogdanovich was out. So I figured, you know, they had a little more. I think their injuries hurt them more than Denver losing Will Barton and Gary Harris. But now it seems like it's the other way around. So I predicted that. It could still go 6 because Denver got Utah got the 2 games that I said they would win. So you never know. Denver could turn around. Jokic got to step up because Gobert's outplaying him. And if they can step their games up, I think that you know, Denver could still win this series. So I think if Denver, Jokic got to be a scorer now, because you know he facilitates a lot. Michael Porter didn't have a great game either. So when you see Michael Porter struggling, you gotta Jokic, you gotta step up, man. So we'll see how that series goes. That's a fun series though, because I like the 2 bigs going at it. Clippers, Dallas. I predicted a sweep. You know, Dallas stole game 2. A lot of people there was a lot of controversy with game 1 and KP getting ejected in game 1. That doesn't necessarily mean that they would have won the game. But if KP, sorry about that. I think KP getting ejected hurt Dallas a lot, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they would have won the game, although they were playing pretty well. Game 2, I think the Clippers were making a lot of silly fouls, and they were just getting called for things. And every time they made a nice little run and comeback, Dallas always hit a big shot. So I give them credit for that. Game 3 yesterday looks more like the Clippers look more like what I thought they would, you know, look like throughout the series, and that's why I had predicted the sweep. You know, Dallas did look okay early in the game, even before Luka got hurt. But the Clippers were starting to click. You know, Kawhi was just saying, you know what, just get on my back. I'll take you guys home. Marcus Morris was playing well. I found that they played Zubac more minutes, and that kind of helped negated some of the driving, because there was a lot of driving kickouts. and that's because the Clippers didn't have a shot blocker in the game. But when they kept Zubac in the game, they neutralized a lot of that, and Luka kind of struggled through the game, and then unfortunately he got hurt, and the Clippers kind of, sealed the game there. Even though Dallas made a small comeback, I think that it wasn't enough. But the Clippers last night played more like the team that I thought would sweep them, and I don't think Dallas is going to win another game even if Luka comes back. I think I predicted a sweep. I didn't get the sweep, but I'm going to stick to 5 now, and that's unfortunate that Luka's going to get hurt. He's fun to watch, but this is not their year. So we'll see how the rest of the series go. Hope he comes back. Hope he comes back tomorrow, but doesn't sound like he will.
Yeah, I think it's a wrap. And like you said, I mean, I'm gonna go through my stuff a little bit quicker. With these matchups, I mean, I predicted personally that a lot of these games was going to go more, and it wasn't going to be any sweeps at all, even with the Brooklyn series. But the Brooklyn series looking like a sweep, Philly looking like a sweep. Even this Indiana joint looking like it. But for the most part, with the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic, like you said, they fell asleep at the wheel the first time. Chris Middleton only had like 14 points the first game, and he just kind of get into his rhythm. I mean, there was rumors saying that when he first started, that he didn't really have, he didn't touch a basketball for the whole 4 months. So you got a lot of guys who just kind of get back into play. People getting used to this whole bubble situation. It is what it is. So he started to play a lot better today. I watched the second quarter to the end of the game today, and he played more aggressive. He was getting the shots up and everything like that. And I think Orlando was done. They just had that fantasy game. They won that first game. Not to say that they're not nice, but your best player, one of your best players, Aaron Gordon's not playing. You have some other people who are hurt. You don't really have enough to beat the Bucks. The Bucks' length, their tenacity, their defense is going to be too much for them. So that series pretty much wrapping up. As far as the Boston 76ers, that's what disappointing one to me, because I felt that they were like rivals and they always played each other well. Like you said, to give Embiid his credit, he's been putting in that work. He's been playing hard, but he can't do it alone. And even when they do have some type of success, Boston is just too deep. They have too many like reliable all-star caliber players, and Tatum, Walker was killing yesterday. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Smart out there doing his thing. Their defense is solid. And
they don't even have Gordon Hayward. He's out a month.
You know what I'm saying? So you got all that stuff happening, and it's over for them. As far as the culture change over there, I don't think they'll blow up the team yet, unless they get like a crazy package for one of the guys. But they definitely, Brett Brown is done. He'll be coaching his last game if they get swept, whatever that game is. I think they might be playing tomorrow. So if they play tomorrow, he'll be coaching his last game, and that'll be it. Because it's like beating a dead horse. You tell him the same thing, and I'm not trying to say it's only his fault, but if your voice ran cold, the same thing with Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson, he opted to leave. They was going to let him go at the end of the season. He opted to leave. He's like, you know what? If my voice is not being heard anymore and it's over, I might as well leave now and get out of Dodge early, as opposed to sticking around. And I think it's over for Brett Brown, because the 76ers have underachieved for such a long time. I do feel bad for him that, he was through the whole process thing and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you had a few good years when you had some solid players and you didn't really do much with them. Unlike Alvin Gentry, who got his golden ticket, and they was like, nah, you good, you out. So that's sad for that. As far as the Brooklyn series, like I said earlier, I was talking about Puff and Hollister. I was saying earlier that, me being funny, I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. I knew the Nets were not going to make it far in the playoffs, but I did feel that they matched up relatively okay with the Toronto. They're a scrappy team, and I felt that Toronto might have came in this. Let me finish. I felt Toronto might have came in there kind of sleeping on them a little bit and give them a little bit of business. Like, now that first game with Toronto went off, like, let's be honest, a lot of those cats was hitting shots that it was like everybody was like freaking Reggie Miller. They know most of the time they're not hitting those type of shots. So the second game was more indicative to what I thought it was going to be, where it's like, all right, you know what? Nets came out there. They gave them a little bit of an issue. They unfortunately lost the game near the end. I missed the third game, and I heard that third game. That third game was like pretty much a blowout. So the Nets already have.
You didn't miss
Yeah. So the Nets, the Nets, you know what I'm saying? They're going through the motion, and they have to take care of what they have to take care of. But I'm happy to what I'm seeing, because I know that next year they're going to be good, and we got nothing to worry about. As far as the Pacers in Miami, I really did expect it to be a little bit more competitive, But right now, Miami is just like they just figured them out and they kind of like locking them down. The Indiana Pacers are more like a jump shooting team. They don't really have people who go to the basket like that. Whereas with Miami, they got a lot of 3-point shooters and stuff like that who can shoot, and they're more aggressive, more physical, and they got a lot of rebounders and people of that nature who can do what they have to do. And Bam is playing well. Jimmy Butler's playing well. Duncan Robinson hitting his shots. There's a lot of things going well for them right now. They're well coached, and unfortunately, with the Pacers. Oladipo still not 100%. Oladipo also, had that injury in that first game, I believe, when he got hit out of the second game, whatever that was. And it's like that kind of like he's not at game one. So he's not really at the Oladipo that we know who almost helped them beat the Cavs. You know what I'm saying? He's not that Oladipo yet. So unfortunately, this is going to be a wash here for them. I think they're going to get swept, especially the way I'm looking at this score right now. They're losing by 18. It's over. So to the West, as far as the Denver Nuggets and Utah game, most of us have said I anticipated Denver to win it. I did say that series will go 7. I felt they were kind of evenly matched as far as like talent and skill sets. But right now, Utah they kind of like got the momentum going. They were hitting all their shots. Donovan Mitchell is putting up them numbers and he's playing really well. Jamal had a bad game last game. Michael Porter Jr. had a bad game the other game. When they were getting smacked by 30, they were just like getting really washed. So I think they're gonna bounce back today. I think they're gonna come back. Hold on one second, guys. Yeah, so I think Denver will bounce back and win a couple more games. This one might go to the wire, but if Utah continues to play how they was playing, I think it's gonna be a done deal pretty much. As far as the Houston Rockets series, that one was kind of surprising. I didn't anticipate them to I kind of did anticipate Houston to win that series. But as far as like the competitiveness in the series, I thought OKC would make it a little bit more competitive. And I like the fact that they're still kind of playing with their bigs, stuff like that. But to y'all earlier point, it's going to get more difficult for them to like really match that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second, guys. The Houston Rockets series, I did anticipate them to do their thing. I did figure they'll win, but I thought it would be a closer series. And like right now, like I'm not sure what's going on with OKC. They don't really have much. And I think they'll get a couple of games, and because they had a decent game last game, they was actually winning most of the game, and then Houston went a little run and got their thing. But I'm surprised with James Harden, his defense, and he's doing his thing. But the Lakers Portland series, I'm not really getting overly excited with the Lakers performance as far as that game where AD did his thing. And granted, who knows what had happened if they were playing the time in the regular time, but it wasn't the pandemic, they probably would have made short. Mincemeat of Portland. But at the end of the day, what I've seen from Portland as far as their depth, they can actually win. As far as Dame getting hurt, I mean, yes, non-shooting hand, but I have jammed my finger multiple times, and I have a finger that I still can't fully bend into a fist fully. And it's been over 2 years since I injured it, and it's still messed up. And it's not even a dislocation like him, and I had x-rays and everything. So it's non-shooting, but it's going to be very uncomfortable, and it's going to be something that he's going to have to deal with. When somebody slack down to try to defend him is going to hurt. When somebody try to make a steal is going to hurt. When he try to catch the ball is going to hurt. It's going to be painful, but Dame has proven that he's a tough guy. He can handle that. As far as the LeBron thing, I think LeBron, he played well the first game. He had a triple-double. I think he just realized, look, right now I need Anthony Davis to really carry it. They're anticipating for me to be the guy to do it. So he's taking that back seat. So I give him respect for that. But then that leads into that whole GOAT thing I was talking about yesterday. Check that video out. And when we get to that GOAT talk conversation, we'll mention this as well. But at the end of the day, I think that series is still going to go a few more games. I'm not sure Portland going to win the game tonight, but if they do win tonight, that'll be very interesting. The issue I have with Portland, though, is that Melo has to play a little bit better. I'm not saying that he's not playing well. I know he's trying to take on the task of going LeBron and doing certain things like that. But as far as his scoring self, he's not that mellow. And I mean, for him to make it's same thing, similar situation with Paul George. Is like these guys are accustomed to making all these great shots and doing these great things, but they're not buying. They can't buy a basket. His timing is off and everything like that. And they desperately need him, like we said before. Like he is the catalyst to help that team win. He is the X factor. If he plays well and he could be that dude, you know what I'm saying? Even for a couple of games, he could be that old school Melo. That would really definitely help the Portland Trailblazers, especially with the injuries that Dame has and McCollum been dealing with. Yeah, they lost Zach Collins. He has season-ending surgery. So, they don't really have enough. As far as defensively on the big side, to Towns' point, you have to play physical with your boy Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a finesse type of player. He can bang down low, but that's not his preferred game. So the main objective is to really be physical with him and make it uncomfortable for him to, do his thing so he don't be getting all that stuff. But the good thing he did was to plead first to everything. He didn't wait around. He was quick with his decision making, and that's why he kind of kept the defenders on their toes. Whiteside's a good defender, but he don't got that footwork like AD. Same thing with Nurkic. Nurkic don't got that footwork to keep up with him. So once AD is being like really like about it and making quick decisions, I think he'll be fine. Now to the Clippers Dallas matchup. That one I felt that like I said, I thought Dallas would win 2 games. They won 1 already. So they probably up for another one. But the way Luka got hurt yesterday and the way he was hobbling up and down the thing, and I think they're kind of done. I was saying this in the text with Tyrone yesterday, is like they are like, I don't want to liken them to the Bulls because I don't want to give them that kind of credit yet. But I'm saying it in the sense that when the Bulls was first playing the Detroit Pistons, right? They had that like Herculean task of like going over the physicality of them. And this stuff that they're going through right now is nothing in comparison. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in comparison. But for them to have to go through what they was going through, and they crying about stuff, Porzingis trying to act tough, even though we saw the video of him getting yoked up out that bar and laughed there. You know what I'm saying? You got Luka trying to play tough too. Like, yeah, man, stop flopping to Harold. Like, you don't want to wake the beast with these guys. And I'm not trying to say you can't stand up for yourself.
They did wake up the beast last
exactly.
night. That's what I'm
saying. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. People want to get into you got to defend yourself to a certain extent, but that's all been part of the game. I remember my dad telling me when I was very young, like people want to try to get in your head playing basketball. They find out ways, and sometimes when people try to act overly tough to show that they could do it, then that's how they get distracted because they're trying to prove that they're a tough guy, trying to prove that they can handle. You ain't gonna push me around. You're not a big bully, but you gotta sometimes, to speed play your cool and give them 40. You know what I'm saying? That's how you beat them. You know what I'm saying? Porzingis, he's playing well. You know what I mean? And it's sad. I was never really a hater of Porzingis. I mean, he did 1 or 2 things that kind of got me tight, like in the past. But the Knicks made a big mistake by getting rid of him, and he's playing really well. Even with Luka out, he still dropped about 30. He still having that kind of unicornish type of skill set where he's making his basket, he's doing this thing. But the real person I want to give credit to last night was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was playing like a man possessed. He was like, yo, by hook or crook, we winning this game. I don't care. Like to the point that I was getting ready to text Tyrone and say, this cat chucking. You know what I'm saying? Like he was not passing the ball to nobody. He's like, look, I'm going to get it done because you guys are not doing what y'all supposed to do. And for Paul George, you got to step your game up, man. Like you can't be trying to be like this kind of like smooth guy and talking about all this stuff. Like you nice and you want to be thing and you was on OKC and you never really made it past the first round in a minute. Like you got to really be that second fiddle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't be trying to drop 40 and all these other crazy baskets in the regular season. And when the playoff time, ain't no playoff P. You playing like really PG-13 soft. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, go ahead. No, I'll say something when you finish.
So that's my take on it. And I mean, we could lead into that whole thing, like the whole
we're gonna talk
game
about
last night.
We're gonna talk about this playoff P thing.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
Yeah, the game last night. I mean, I saw a lot from that game last night. I mean, I do believe the Clippers are going to take care of business, not taking nothing away from Dallas. Dallas made it interesting. Even at the end, they brought it down to a reasonable lead that they, could execute a little bit better, and they did their thing. Now, as far as the Clippers, you got Harold starting to get his feet wet again, getting back into it. They made the smart decision by not playing Joakim Noah, which is a very smart decision by Doc Rivers, because we all know that Joakim Noah would get washed out there.
Are you serious right now?
Get washed out there.
He is a veteran bench player that plays in the garbage.
Veteran bench player,
yeah. He is past his prime. You have this issue. You have this beef with Joakim Noah, and you need to let it go. I mean,
I got no beef with him at all. I'm just saying that
a chance to get a ring this year.
I'm happy for him to get a ring.
The man sits at the end of the bench. Why are we talking about a guy that sits at the end?
Because of they showing his picture, and why we seeing him? He ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Like they showing him.
They show Patrick Beverly. He had a mask on.
Yeah, but Patrick Beverly is the one who like actually hurt, and he be doing stuff like except like with Russell and be saying like, well, he's just running around.
Saving no. I'm not gonna get into an argument with you, Joakim.
But yeah, I mean that game last night, we can all kind of jump in here now.
Joakim Noah. All right, can I talk about? Answer. I've never heard this before until you said it. I've never heard this, and then I read a comment on Bleacher Report about it. Yeah. Where in the hell did Paul George get this nickname Playoff P from? Because what has he done? And I love Paul George, and I want them to go on and beat the Lakers. I want the Clippers to be the team that beats LeBron, and I like Paul George. I'm a fan of his. But what has he done to become playoff P?
I don't know, man. I mean,
somebody tell me.
Because
I've heard of playoff Rondo. I know playoff Rondo because Rondo had big playoff games.
I think it just sounds good, so they just said it. And I think he had one series. I think before he left Indiana, and he got traded the first time. I think he played really well, and people was like, "Oh, this guy's nasty," and that's when he was starting to come into his own. But like I said to you before, and we all said that before too. It's like some of these players, and you never know. It could be the pressure, it could be the jitters. It could just be just the kind of like anxiety in itself that I don't want to mess up. You know what I mean? I know that feeling, so I'm not taking nothing away from the Paul George. But at the same time, a lot of these guys, you got to understand, it's basketball. And I know it's easier said than done, but that's why people like Kawhi, LeBron, KD, and certain other players, they have that instinct where it's like, I'm gonna like take the moment and make it mine. It's like Kawhi is a little bit different. He's more like robotic in a sense, and I'm not just saying that because people make that joke like that, but he's more like, I'm just want to win, and I'll win by any means necessary. I don't care. Whereas like LeBron and them like the kind of like the glitz and the glamour about being the nicest cat, so they want more like the attention on that way. Whereas Kawhi just does the work and he gets the attention. Where like LeBron and KD and them may just do the work to get the attention. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, my thing is that at the end of the day, you supposed to be the second best player on this team. You were requested by Kawhi Leonard to be his running mate. You ain't putting up the work. You got to put in something. You can't. No more excuses, man. No more excuses.
To defend him a little bit.
Yeah.
He just needs to give them between 20 and 25.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even doing that. But let's not walk around and say that we need Paul George. Not we, but the Clippers need Paul George to drop 30, 35.
No, nobody's saying that. But the man was like,
I know that's not what you're saying.
But
everybody,
20, like, that's crazy.
Everybody's getting on him. But let's not act like we. I keep saying we. Well, yeah, we, because a lot of people are fans. I'm a fan of Paul George. It's not like everybody's looking for Paul George. I mean, it's not like you should be looking for him to drop 35, 40. That's Kawhi's job. That's Lou Williams' job, because Lou Williams is capable of leading the team in scoring.
But even so.
But just play defense. Mm-hmm. Play defense. Give him about 20, 22 points. Get about 3 or 4 steals. Get some rebounds. That's fine. Yeah. But he do. You're right. He does. Like, he does need to step up. Like, I don't know what it is. Who is it that's guarding him? I think it's Tim Hardaway. I think Tim Hardaway guards him a lot. Come on, he making Tim Hardaway look like Bruce Bowen, son.
But Tim Hardaway no slouch. I mean, he got better himself too, and he was killing yesterday.
Okay. He could shoot. I'm talking about defense.
He looked like Steph Curry yesterday.
Steph is playing. Steph Curry's balling. I'm not even going to front.
You looking like Steph Curry yesterday,
man. Yeah, man.
On top of that, he's like
Trey. Yeah, I thought he came out from the golfing and all that. I was like, it's nice to see Steph out here. I was like, it's nice to see Steph. Man.
You know what I'm saying? And even
you probably was wondering, did Steph sneak in the bubble? Did he sneak in?
What's funny about that whole thing? He playing like, he's trying to set his father-in-law like, nah, man, you ain't gonna try to play me, son. Like, I don't care. I'll see you at the family dinner, but I'm dropping this 20-something on you.
They got a squad on that family. Damian Lee. I think it was Damian Lee. What's his name? Lee. That he dates the Curry sister. He on the Warriors.
He's married to Curry and them sister.
Austin. You got Austin Rivers, Seth and Steph. Yeah, they got a little starting lineup there.
Steph Curry married to Doc Rivers' daughter.
Yeah. I'm saying, so there's a lot of that going on. But my thing with that whole game last night, like I said, I saw a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, Luka is cool, but that whole stuff on the bench and that whole, like, he's sitting on the side, he rolled his ankle, try to come back out and play and do this whole thing, and once he got that triple-double, he went back down and sit down.
You texted that last night, and I was laughing because you thought he really came back for that. He was really trying to play.
No, I'm not trying to say he wasn't trying to play, but he was like, how much I have? Make the sad face and stuff like that, because he could have stayed. My thing is that he's finished. Like, with that ankle injury, man, it's already ballooning right now. I know they got a lot of treatment. They put ice, and they probably got him in the ice bath now, heat and treatment. But once he get on that court tomorrow, if he does play tomorrow, it's going to be another thing the same. And I mean, honestly, he got to already take it easy. I mean, I know y'all playing for y'all playoffs, and y'all think y'all can win and do your thing, but y'all gonna have to take this L and just go with it. But
no, they're done because the Clippers are. Listen, when you start to see Montrezl Harrell talking when he scores, you're in trouble. But when that man start running his mouth like how he was last night, that's when Montrezl Harrell. Remember, God rest his grandmother's soul.
yeah,
He wasn't in shape. And he's playing into shape. Once that boy is playing big and making those big and ones and getting rebounds and bumping big men, you're in trouble when Montrez is starting to roll.
he like the center version of Patrick Beverly. They look like they could be brothers. It's like they look the same. But my thing is this: the whole point that you just made is like, and back to Paul George is that, and guys like him, it's like, look, man, we're not trying to say you have to drop 30. We understand. Even some nights, Michael Jordan didn't always drop 30 points when he needed it, but he did what his team needed. But he had that instinct where I'm not going to lose. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. Right? That's how Kawhi played last night. I feel that a lot of times people like Paul George or like Chris Middleton, right? Not that they say they're not trying to win, but they are kind of like okay with, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna be passive and just get out the way. Like, no, you are there for a reason. Even I know Paul George he shot mad bricks yesterday, and he was like maybe like 4 for like 40. I don't know. Like he was like 4 for like.
It seemed like 4. It seemed like 4 for 40.
It was like he was like 2 for 12, and I'm like, that's crazy. So I mean, he had a bad shooting night, and he was missing shots, wide open joints and shots. It was just off, air balls, flat to the side. He's not focused. And my thing is that they need you, and the reason why I said that because it helps alleviate the pressure on the main guy. Like Kawhi gonna do what he gonna do. Because Kawhi didn't always have all the great games either, but Kawhi took it upon himself, especially after that first game loss. That look, I'm not doing this no more. Now Kawhi, he's taking his shots.
Game 2 was with the one they lost.
Yeah. So when he lost that game, he's like, you know what? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? He came out guns blazing. He forced some shots. He might have taken the most shots of the whole team, obviously, but he said we're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you have to play. So my thing with people like Paul George is like, look, man, just focus, get right. I know it's easier said than done, but it's inexcusable in the sense that you gotta be that dude. Like you have to help. Because if I know you bricking, I'm like, I'm gonna leave Paul George. I'm gonna double Kawhi now. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have with Giannis. Like I watched a clip. Somebody had a piece of paper, like not a paper. They took a picture, and it had like 3 Orlando Magic guys making a wall in front of Giannis, right? And that's how they defend him because they learned that from another team. But the beauty thing about playing with Giannis, he had a lot of shooters on his team, so Giannis would kick and dive it out, and then he wide open for a 3. So I'm saying all that to say, as a person who has to play along a superstar, you have to put in that work. Scottie Pippen put in that work. You know what I'm saying? Other players, they gonna do their role. Players gonna do their thing. You're gonna have a guy come off the bench and might drop 30 one night because he's feeling it. But we need the consistent guys, the star guys, to be consistent. So like even though LeBron didn't have a good game that other night, LeBron still, was distributing the ball, still got rebounds, still defended.
Caldwell Pope hit shots.
You know what I'm saying? So you still spread that wealth. Even though AD was the main attraction and the main guy doing this thing, they still were able to spread it out and help with that whole win. Right. Whereas like with the Clippers, is like after a while, Kawhi could do but so much. I mean, ain't no low management right now, but you know what I'm saying? He was another.
They low managed for 4 months. I don't want to hear that from nobody.
So that's what I'm saying. So my thing is that that game was interesting. It was just funny watching them like trying to act like they're tough guys and do their whole.
They tried.
It was just funny, but then like I said, you pulling the lion's tail, and now you woke up Harold. You got
yes, you did.
All the brothers, but Morris,
Marcus Morris was always playing well.
He was always playing like that and playing well. But I'm just trying to say now he got his backup now too. He got Harold playing, and then if Patrick Beverly come back, and I doubt he's gonna come back this series.
They don't even need Beverly right now. And I heard something last night, and they said Doc Rivers said he doesn't know if he would even come back in the second round.
Yeah, I think with Patrick Beverly,
it's a calf. It's a calf injury. So I've had a calf injury before. They're not real. They're not good. You got to really rest them.
Yeah, but
so
still,
we'll see. And he played, but because he plays so hard. Patrick Beverly plays real hard. So guys like that are prone to injuries, and he only knows how to play one way.
Like running around and doing that.
Listen, you listen to Kevin Durant all you want. And all these other guys.
I don't know what Westbrook and them said that. Like, he was running around.
Yeah, but KD was getting on Beverly last year too.
But KD respect Beverly. They respect each other.
But Westbrook is the one that does say run around all day.
honestly,
well, he tore his meniscus.
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Trying to call a timeout.
And honestly, not for nothing. Back then, I was like, yo, I would have squared up if I was a dude on that team. I would have scored up and fought Patrick Beverly because that was a dirty play. So I respect what Westbrook was saying in regards to that. I mean, I had liked Beverly before, and I still do like him, but I felt
was really dirty about it though.
Man, they knew. Look, everybody. It's just like how you play in basketball. You don't run up the score. You just dribble it out. The same way in baseball, you hit a home run. You don't flip the bat. It's like the kid's calling timeout. You hit him and bump him like that.
One day we'll get into it with baseball. But I had something. It's something with baseball that's just annoying with me with their unwritten rules. It happened the other day with a player who hit a home run. Well, I
do the bat. I saw that.
He hit a grand slam on a 3-0 pitch. And they were up by 7 runs. Yeah, Tatis Jr. And they flipped out on him about it. Like, are you serious? Like, it's something we can get into another time.
Wait, so what happened? Because he hit a grand slam, they mad?
All right, they were up 10-4 in the 8th inning, right? Yeah. The bases were loaded, and he had a 3-0 count. Now, usually in baseball, a lot of guys don't like to swing when it's 3 balls and no strikes. They sometimes what it is when you hit a 3 ball and no count. Ball 4 is a walk, or a lot of times guys don't want to swing when it's 3-0 because they don't want to make an out when they had a chance to they have the count in their favor. So there's an unwritten rule claiming that if you're up by a lot and you have a 3-ball count and no strike, 3 balls, no count strike, you're not going to really swing because it's like showing up the team. Well, he decided to swing. It wasn't even a straight strike if you ever looked at the replay. And he hit a grand slam. And they went up 14-4. They got mad about it. His own manager even said he should apologize. And the worst thing of all is he went out and apologized in the freaking press conference after. And everybody, even pitchers on other baseball teams, said his mistake was apologizing. I've heard pitchers say it. One of the pitchers, Garrett Cole on the Yankees, was like, listen, if you trying to hit a grand slam, get it how you can get it. I'm not mad at you.
Exactly.
Players were so against him apologizing, and it's just ridiculous. It's why baseball isn't as popular as it is now, because there's this stupid rules, unwritten rules. Oh, don't backflip. Yeah, how many? I see Ken Griffey backflip so much times in his career. You can't just pick and choose who you get mad at for backflipping. It's just too much little things. I didn't want to get into the story really like that.
I agree with you.
When you brought up the unwritten, because you was talking about the timeout with Beverly. Okay, yeah, Westbrook is dribbling towards his bench. He was trying to dribble towards his bench to call timeout. The whistle didn't blow yet, so Beverly had the right to me. If you watch it again, Beverly had. No, it didn't blow yet. They didn't call a timeout yet. You got to watch it.
I'll finish and I'm gonna say my piece. Go ahead.
Because listen, I understand what everybody's saying. You see him going towards the bench. None of us probably wouldn't have tried to go for the steal. But listen, not everybody's thinking that way. And he was alert enough to try to do it. I mean, he wasn't successful other than tearing his meniscus. But I didn't see anything really dirty about it. I really didn't. And I'm a fan of both guys.
Right, I'm gonna say my piece.
Nothing dirty, but no, I'm done now. I can let you go on with it. I'm not even gonna argue about it. It's because we all have our opinions on it. It's just my opinion.
I feel you.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
So my thing with that whole situation is this, right? It's like, look, the Patrick Beverly thing, as I remember it, right, is that the most of the time when the players are running up the court, they're running up halfway up the court, and they already kind of like signal to the ref that I'm going to take a timeout, right? So he knew that. My thing is that because he liked to be a pest, and like I said, sometimes you get caught in a moment. I don't think he's intentionally trying to hurt Russell Westbrook and get him out. I'm hoping that's not the case. But the same way how people say, oh, Zaza Pachulia put his leg underneath Kawhi Leonard and made him get hurt, or how he fell on Russell Westbrook's leg, all funny style to try to hurt him, right?
The Kawhi injury was a dirty play.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's my point. My point is that it's a similar thing. He could say, I didn't know he was going to come down, land on my foot. It's a probability type of thing, right? He tried to make it happen, but he knew the probability was going to happen. And then another thing is like when what was it like? Getting certain kind of screens is different things. So I had another example, but when you had said that, it kind of threw me off. But anyway, be that as it may, right? It's like even like Kelly Olynyk when he tore your boy's shoulder and he's grabbing Kevin Love's arm,
Kevin Love,
and kind of like pulled it in a certain kind of way, right?
Yeah, that was
some of
bad.
these guys, like, I don't think he intentionally tried to dislocate his shoulder, but he was trying to, like, cause him problems. Or some guys like will pull people's shorts. There's certain things that people do to get under his skin to do like little cheating things, right? Like I might trip a guy because you're running over me, like how your boy used to jump in the air and kick people in the nuts. Draymond Green when he's doing certain things, right? When he goes to the basket, and ask Steven Adams about that. My thing is that at the end of the day, what he was doing was wrong. He knew that he was going to call the timeout. He knew it because he's a point guard himself. Let me finish.
No, because it has nothing with it's not even a disagreement. Yeah. You see how you brought up all those guys, but yet you don't mention when Kevin Garnett slapped Channing Frye in the nuts.
I don't remember seeing him.
Oh, wait. Oh, you didn't see that, huh?
No, I mean,
okay.
Let me finish. Okay. I'm not trying to say Kevin Garnett is not innocent. Kevin Garnett,
he's dirty. He's a dirty player. He's a dirty player. He's a dirty player.
Not a dirty player. All right,
he's a dirty player.
Dirty.
But I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you go back and say what you say. But you're not gonna sit here. You're not gonna talk about. You're not gonna talk about Kelly Olynyk, and all these guys. Meanwhile, there's a damn video of this man literally slapping this man in the midsection. No, I wasn't gonna let that one go.
That might have been. I don't remember that too much. But at the end of the day, I don't think he was out there trying to injure him. But I'm trying to say, like, when you look at these other guys, let me finish. Right?
I'm gonna let you finish.
What I'm trying to say is, like, as far as Patrick Beverley doing what he did, right? The man tore his meniscus. The man never had an injury. Tore his meniscus. To this day, right? He has been having knee problems. That could have messed up his career. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard missed a whole season because the compounding injuries of him messing up his ankle that time when he was playing against the Golden State Warriors, and it led to the quad thing. It led to other stuff. Same thing with your boy getting hurt. So what I'm trying to say is that these guys, if you're going out there doing that thing, especially Patrick Beverley, is like, yo, you already know what you're doing.
But, all right. So this is why I'm defending Pat Bev, right? Yes. He did run into him and he tore his meniscus. But you can clearly look at the video and see he was gunning for the ball. It's not like he went and tried to give him a knee in the leg or anything like that. He was going for the ball, and Russ happened to tear his meniscus. And the funny thing is Russ continued playing in that game. But it wasn't like Pat was going for his leg. He was literally trying to slap the ball out of his hand.
That's my point. Like I said, I'm not trying to say
Kevin Garnett took his hand and backhand Channing Frye in the no-nos.
All right. I mean, even if that happened, look, man, look.
I mean, I'll pull a video up for you and text it to you later.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll use it. My thing is this: I'm not saying that some players, like for instance, like when Serge Ibaka hit, your boy in the nuts. What's his face? Who used to be on the Clippers, and he no longer Blake Griffin, right? We've seen the video, so I'm not trying to say that happened. Sometimes guys get in the scuffle and they like to get the retaliation by doing that. I understand it. When I'm trying
Kevin Garnett literally slapped him.
All right, but I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say that he didn't do that. I'm just trying to say that
even say it.
I don't remember him doing it.
You say you don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I don't remember.
You never remember anything he does bad.
I remember some stuff. He said some stuff that was kind of messed up.
Look, he put it up. It's on a group chat. My brother pulled it up there. Yeah, so take a look at that.
I'm going to in a second.
Take a look at that one there, okay?
Like I said, right, with the Pat Beverley thing, right? To me, like I said, he knew that was not a good thing to do, right?
And pull up the Patrick Beverley play too, so he could see that. I get what you're saying, Mike, about he didn't really have to do. Like, I know your argument is basically he didn't have to do it.
No, but I'll give you another example, right?
I know.
Look at it like this, right? Let me say this last
I'm not
piece,
even
right?
debating. I'm not even debating your opinion.
Let me just say this last piece for the viewers or the people listening. They can get what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Let me get what I'm talking about. It's like if you're in a fight, right? I seen a guy. I went to a live fight one time, Muay Thai fight, right? And I see a guy get knocked out because the referee stopped the fight in the second. The guy took his guard down, right? And the kid did a sucker punch, right? Now, granted, sometimes people say, "Oh, always be on your guard." That's true. But if I know, for instance, right, I'm doing the same play set that I do all the time, right, and I know that by me doing this play set, all right, this is going to have me not on guard, right? Because let's say if your boy was anticipating that he's going to do that, he would have did what he had to do, and he wouldn't have got hurt. But if he didn't anticipate him doing that, and you're not ready, and somebody do something like that to you, you're liable to get hurt. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, to me, despite the fact he's trying to be overly aggressive, and for whatever reason he was doing it, whether he's trying to be like, yo, I'm just going to irritate this guy, he got like a little semi beef. At the end of the day, right, what he did was still wrong. The same thing with Karl Malone used to throw them bows back in the day. Wrong. When Bruce Bowen did that flying super kick to what's his face, to Steve Nash, it's still wrong. You know what I'm saying? They did it in quote unquote within the game rules, but it was still wrong, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? When Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, elbowed Mike Bibby in the face, and they call a foul on Mike Bibby. That Sacramento Kings and Lakers matchup, right? It's a lot
biggest
of things.
Controversial game ever in the history of basketball.
100%. They would have won the chip that year, right? So all these things, what I'm saying is that, yes, some players do certain things, and yes, you don't anticipate certain things, but there's certain guidelines in the game, not only for sportsmanship, but just for the fact to keep people safe. And I felt that he violated that, and that's why they got that beef to this day.
I understand that, but I didn't see him. I didn't see it as a dirty. I think what made everybody say what they say about Pat is that he got hurt. If Russ didn't get hurt, nobody would be talking about that play. Yeah. Nobody would have said anything. Russ, even if they would have had a confrontation, it's the fact that he tore his meniscus and what made everybody go off about it. And
it was in the playoffs too, so it was a lot of on the line then too.
But I understand how Beverly is, so I didn't see anything dirty with it. But that's just that's our opinions. It's that's why we have opinions. It may not be we may not agree on it, but hey, that's okay. But that's just our opinions. But you need to check out that Kevin Garnett. Oh wait, Indiana they're down by 9 now. So they're making a comeback. I just glanced at the TV for the first time in a while. So, yeah, you got to check out that Kevin Garnett thing because that's blatant. That's a dirty play. That's a flat dirty play. That's worse than what Patrick Beverly did. And Patrick Beverly tore a man's meniscus. And nothing's worse than there's no bigger disrespect than slapping a man down there. And Kevin Garnett did that. Any comments on it? You haven't watched it yet? Yeah, you're gonna take your sweet time and watch that one.
No, I literally just watched it. What I'm trying to say is this.
So what are your thoughts?
You got hit in the nuts like that. First of all, we all been hitting the nuts many times. When we played wrestling and we were doing that, we got hit in the nuts. Okay, the way Chandler Fry jumped up, the way he did, it wasn't that serious, bro. He didn't get hit like it wasn't like Kevin Garnett blatantly like how Serge Ibaka did blatantly swiped to hit him in the nuts.
So you're really defending this.
Hit me out. Kevin Garnett did do a quote-unquote dirty play by trying to foul him in midair.
Quote-unquote. Right? No, there's no quote-unquote. It's right? A dirty play.
But it wasn't like he just went the intention to hit the cat in the nuts. He went to kind of push him, and he happened to land in that area.
He hit him on purpose.
At the end of the day, man, like I said, y'all just be hating and stuff like that.
No, you're making excuse
right now. Watch it right now.
It was a dirty play, bro.
He aimed to hit him right there.
He hit him. He hit him. You know why he got up? His instincts, his adrenaline wanted to knock Kevin Garnett the hell out. That's why.
He knew you can wash. Kevin
Garnett can't. Have you seen Kevin Garnett fight? Have you ever seen Kevin Garnett fight? So how do you know what he could do?
You know why I know what he could do? Because when I hear people them past like Doc Rivers and them talking about how they used to get it in the locker room and then people used to fight for certain things and how Kevin Garnett was yoking up people like Big Baby and having them cry.
I'm not bragging about Big Baby.
I'm not trying to say it like that. Right. The reason why I'm saying about Big Baby because I have a friend.
Just because he made Big Baby cry on the bench, don't make him talk.
Let me finish, right? One of my friends that I play ball with, right? He actually went to a basketball camp with Big Baby, right? And he said Big Baby was like one of those kind of like jerkish kids who used to kind of come out there because he was so big, kind of bully people and do what he had to do. Now, they said back then, I remember watching this other video and I shared it to you. But see, the problem with y'all is that when I share you guys these videos, because you see Kevin Garnett face, you don't want to watch it.
You be sharing Kevin Garnett videos. It'll be a guy talking about something nice about him and you share it. Like, I don't care.
I know.
I don't
that's
want
the
to hear
problem.
about
That's
it.
the problem. You ain't listening, so you don't get what I'm trying to tell you. So
I don't want to hear
let
anything
me
about
finish
him.
the story, right? So they
I
said
don't
one
even. I
time.
don't even want to hear this.
Well,
But I'll
people want to
listen.
hear it.
I don't have a
People wanna hear it.
choice.
So, this is right. There was a time where like they had played in the game, right, and they had the food out for the players, right, and I guess some medical staff or
Oh
somebody
my
came.
God! All right, I
in.
know the story. I know
He
the
got out.
story.
He slapped the
Yes,
hands. These
I
for the
know.
players,
I
right?
know.
There's another time where like Big
I know
Baby
the
was trying to
story.
act hard, right, and do that, and he tried to act like he was the alpha, and then he had a wrestling match with KG, and KG yoked him up. In that same thing with the Rondo situation, and that's how he got his respect. People know KG's a real dude, bro. Y'all be getting it twisted because y'all
I
see him smile.
never said KG wasn't a
like
real
that.
dude, but
Real,
you be talking like he the toughest guy in the NBA.
I'm not gonna say
man.
he's the toughest guy in the NBA. I'm just saying that, but I'm just
Like
saying
he would have yoked. He would have yoked. How you know he would have beat up Channing Frye? How you know that? How you know that? How you know that?
A name like Channing Frye, they said, "Come on, son, he's soft, bro."
Oh man.
Come on, don't get it.
Let's not segue to a Kevin Garnett thing because that's a whole nother episode in itself. You know, between I don't hate. He's a future Hall of Fame. He didn't make it yet.
Well, he's gonna make it. Guarantee he's gonna make that.
No, he already got elected, but he hasn't been enshrined yet. So he's still considered a future Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, you know,
Hall of Fame elected. You know,
change the big man position as we know it.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Because back then, big man wasn't playing like how he was playing with the athleticism, guarding 1 through 5. Cass wasn't doing that till
wait, what?
When Kevin Garnett first came into the league, that was one of the things that the scouts were saying, that he could guard 1 through 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Defensive acumen. That's why, you know.
How that Baron Davis dunk look? Yeah, he really guarded that one.
How many people got dunked on? Mad people got dunked on.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He guards 1 to 5, right?
Yeah, come on. Stop trying to hate on my man's, bro. He's nice, bro.
We'll save that for another episode, man.
Anthony Peeler.
Yeah, he two-pieced him. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's
he ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing.
Because he knew that his team, Anthony Peeler, was a bench warmer, right? He knew that his team valued him. His value on the court was more important. So why fight a bum like Anthony Peeler, get suspended, and then kick your team to lose? Come on, son. Let's stop it.
Slap Tim Duncan in the back of the head when he wasn't paying attention. Like,
Tim Duncan needed that, man, to wake up. You know what I'm saying? And Tim Duncan already know what time it is too, bro. And they still cool, man. That's why Tim Duncan wish he got slapped again for that. Joker know that's hurt because he came up to Kevin Garnett one time in the league with his fan poster. Kevin Garnett said, "Get out of here with your freaking self. We got long, dumb looking hair, and get out of my face." And he was hurt. That's what he said in the interview. Charles, you know I'm talking about. Right? That's why he said, "Oh, he's such an ugly man." And he said, "Blah blah blah." Came to Kevin Garnett like, "I was a huge fan of yours." Kevin Garnett like, "Yo, who it is?" You know what I'm saying? Same. Who's Patrick Beverly's favorite player, Tyrone?
I don't know.
Got himself muted now. Patrick Beverly said his favorite basketball player is Kevin Garnett. That's why he wears number 21.
Oh God.
That's why he plays like things. So y'all giving Patrick Beverly all this props, but his favorite player is Kevin Garnett.
Bad decision.
Right? No, not a bad decision. It's a great decision. You know what I'm saying? Too bad he can't play like KG. He'd be Hall of Famer too. You know what I'm saying? Well, it is what it is. But I mean, the game is getting things on the ball. They back down to 10 again. But yeah, man. I mean, look, man, these games have been getting good. I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of the games this evening. I know it's not really much to talk about once the other seasons really start going underway. I mean, like football comes into play, we can start talking about that. I really wanted to talk about that whole college football thing, but that's kind of like gaining and losing momentum. So maybe the next time we speak again, we'll mention that. But yeah, I mean, unless you guys have anything else to talk about, I think we can kind of wrap it up now and get ready. So and watch the rest of the games.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, nothing else really happening. So
that's good. So anyway, I want to thank you guys again for listening and watching. I know we didn't really go in depth and long as we usually do, but you know, these games are getting entertaining and we're looking forward to more. And once the other sports like football, especially, not saying that baseball doesn't count, but once football really starts kicking in, we'll start talking more about that and getting going. But thanks again for watching. God bless you guys, and
thank you.
We out.
Thanks, guys. We out.